Hey everybody, this is Matt. I just wanted to do a quick post. We've been super busy. Actually, in the background, you can see this black screen running, and it's our algorithm running for our alpha, which we got up and running last night, and overnight we broke it. So we're working on fixing a few things with it. But I do need to do another startup update because a lot of stuff's going on with the end of the year. But one thing I wanted to talk about really quickly was, as we get to the end of the year, a lot of people talk about 2011 and the things that they had, and there's all these lists coming out, or predictions, or things we learned, or this or that or the other thing. And the thing that's been coming across my desk today, at least, is this list of top 10 picks for leading social media influencers of 2011. And there's a lot. I'm not picking on this one necessarily, and I don't really care about who's on the list. But I find it really interesting because the industry has talked about influencers so much that the term means nothing. But this list, which I'll put a link to at the bottom here, talks about influencers, web winners, top 10 picks for the leading social media influencers of 2011. But what it says is we research their numbers of followers, their engagement levels, their reach, their overall mentions, using Sysmos Map listening tool. We check their clout scores, their Twitter rankings, their Facebook popularity. We didn't want to just serve up the same names as everybody else. So we did our best to find something a little different. Well, ultimately they served up a lot of the same names. But what I find interesting about it is that one of the things we've been talking about a lot lately is there's so much noise and so many just generic metrics about individuals and attributes of individuals. But what this proves is one of the things we've been talking a lot about is that today social media, and I met with an agency this morning, and it was largely what they told me too, and I've talked to multiple agencies that do this for brands and individual brands, is that what you do today in social media is you find a topic, and in this case the topic's social media, which is a big topic, and you go find a bunch of data points that you think are relevant, right? So followers, reach, clout, blah, 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 blah. They're all just individual data points. And whether you believe in those data points or not, well, I guess that's yours to judge. But ultimately, you take all these data points and you build a mental model of how you think this community works and who you think's important. And what's wrong with that is that, well, one, it's everybody's guess. And I think where everybody gets pissy about influence or about whatever other metric or ranking or whatever else is, they don't realize it's a little bit of an ego play and your ego's wounded. But the other thing is the reason people like to argue about it is because you have your own mental map that you've built in your head that says, this is who I think's important. These are the people that are important to me. And so when these generic lists come out and they say these are the people that are influential or important, the problem is when it doesn't match your mental model, everybody's like, oh, no, that's not it. Well, the problem is these are all mental models. There's no real science or proven fact behind who these people are or how they're relevant to you. And the reality is that social media, for example, as a topic, there's a huge community of people that gather around social media. And who's influential and who's not, well, you know what? All these data points don't add up to who's influential and who's not, because you know what? Influence is a generic word anymore, but the point is it's a role that someone plays within a larger community. And you have to understand that larger community and the context of that larger community to make an assumption on how you're going to achieve your goals, whether those people are relevant to you or not, how do you utilize those people, do you have relationships with those people. So this whole thing with the influencer lists and influencer scores and all these things, in 2012, people are going to realize that there's a lot more to life and a lot more to social media than individual scores. So anyways, just kind of had to get that off my chest. Honestly, is one of the things that we're working on is how do you take that intuitive mental model and how do you give someone a science-based, data-driven model to prove that within a matter of seconds versus a mental model that you accumulate and adjust and tune over months or years. So anybody that looks at one of these lists, like this influencer of social media list, if you've never been in the context of social media and you don't have a mental model, you may look at that list and be like, all right, these are people I should follow. And maybe they are. But if you've been in the industry for a long time and you have your own opinions and you want to throw rocks at this, which is fine, because I don't know that I necessarily agree with it either, that's fine too. But the problem is you've built your own mental model over a course of months or years, and this doesn't jive with that. And so the problem is that we need to, as an industry, get to a place where we start to remove some of the mental model piece out of it and start to have more of a data-driven model. That doesn't mean you won't have your judgment on top of it or your opinions on top of it. That's fine. But there is a science to how these communities work, and there is a science to how people interrelate and how action is taken or how messages travel. And 2012 is going to illuminate a lot of those things, at least if we have anything to say about it. So anyways, that's my rant for today. I hope you guys have a great Christmas or whatever holiday you celebrate, as well as a good New Year. Enjoy your lists of the top 20, 10, whatever people of 2011 or the trends or predictions for 2012. So anyways, I look forward to some of the predictions I've seen in 2012 around social analytics and predictive analytics. That's what we're excited about. So anyways, have a great holiday. We'll see you after the beginning of the year.